I'm writing this from a laptop in a library in a town I won't name. I didn't take my truck, I didn't take my phone. If you're reading this, or if you're listening to this, I need you to understand one thing. The national parks aren't there to preserve nature. They are preserves in the literal sense. They are enclosures. The government isn't protecting the trees from us. They're protecting them from getting out. But I think the fences are failing. Last night I walked past a mirror in the library. For a split second, I didn't see my own face. I saw a mouth that went down to my chest. If you see a park ranger, if you see someone who looks a little too perfect or speaks a little too much like you, don't wave, don't ask for directions, just run. Because once they have your voice, they don't need the rest of you anymore. Florida's supposed to be the sunshine state, but to me, it felt like a humid, neon-lit waiting room for death. I settled into a gated community near Sarasota. It was the kind of place where the grass is trimmed to exactly 2 inches, and every house is painted a shade of eggshell or sand. No pine trees, no mountains, just palm trees that look like plastic, and the constant electric hum of air conditioners. For the first 6 months, I did exactly what the man in the charcoal suit told me to do. I cashed the checks, I drank too much scotch, I stared at the television until my eyes burned. But you can't run from a sound, especially not a sound that knows your name. It started with my neighbor, a guy named Bill. Bill was a retired insurance adjuster from Ohio, or so he said. He was friendly in that aggressive suburban way. He'd wave from his driveway, offer to lend me his pressure washer, and talk about the local high school football scores. But 3 weeks ago, Bill leaned over the fence while I was grilling a steak. "Hot one today, Elias," he said. "Yeah," I replied, not looking up. "Stays hot here." Stays hot, but it's a dry heat in the basin, isn't it? Better than this soup. I froze. The tongs slipped from my hand, clattering onto the pavement. I had never told Bill I worked in the Cascades. I had never mentioned the basin. "What did you say?" I asked, my heart hammering against my ribs. Bill just blinked. His eyes were a flat, watery blue. "I said it's a dry heat in the Midwest. That's where I'm from, you know, Ohio." I watched him walk back into his house. He didn't walk like a man in his late 60s. He moved with a strange, fluid grace, his upper body perfectly still while his legs did all the work. It looked mechanical. That night I couldn't sleep. Silence of the Florida suburbs was different from the dead zone, but it was just as heavy. At 2 a.m., my landline rang. I hadn't given the number to anyone. I picked it up. I didn't say anything. On the other end, there was a familiar rhythmic clicking. Then a voice. "Search and rescue. We have a code purple at the basin. Repeat, code purple." It was the exact recording from that day in 2014. Same static, same gravelly distortion. "Who is this?" I whispered, my hand shaking so hard I almost dropped the receiver. "Elias?" The voice changed. It wasn't the dispatcher anymore. It was Miller, my old partner. "Elias, it's me. I found the kid. I found Toby. He's in the crawl space, Elias. He's right under your feet." I hung up and I ripped the cord out of the wall. I spent the rest of the night sitting in the middle of my living room with my .357 Magnum in my lap, staring at the floorboards. I didn't want to look. Every instinct I had as a ranger told me to get in my truck and drive until the gas ran out. But curiosity is a poison. The next morning I grabbed a flashlight and went to the small utility door on the side of the house that led to the crawl space. In Florida, these areas are usually just sand and pipes. I clicked on the light. The beam cut through the darkness, illuminating the gray cinder blocks and the silver insulation. And there in the far corner, I saw them. Shoes. A pair of small, blonde leather sneakers, placed neatly, side by side, heels touching. They were perfectly clean. Next to them was a bright red wind bracket, folded into a perfect square. I felt the air leave my lungs. I backed out of the crawl space, my head spinning. I turned around to run, but I bumped directly into a solid chest. It was Bill. He was standing less than an inch away from me. He wasn't smiling anymore. His jaw was hanging slightly loose, as if the muscles had forgotten how to hold it up. "You weren't supposed to look in the crawl space, Elias," he said. Except it wasn't Bill's voice, it was my voice. He was using my exact tone, my exact cadence. "Subdivision 7 told you," Bill with my voice continued. "The money was for the silence. The house was for the containment. We don't like it when the assets get restless." I raised the gun. I aimed it right between those flat, watery blue eyes. "What are you?" I screamed. Bill's face began to ripple, not like skin, but like liquid. His nose flattened into his cheeks. His eyes widened until the whites were gone, replaced by a dull, vibrating black. And then his mouth began to drop. It dropped past his chin, past his neck, down to his chest. I didn't wait. I pulled the trigger. Click. I pulled it again. Click. I had loaded the gun myself. I had checked the cylinder every night for 6 months. But as I looked down, the gun wasn't made of steel anymore. It was made of that same translucent, vibrating material I had seen on the cilia of the thing on the boulder. It felt like cold, wet wax in my hand. The thing that looked like Bill leaned in. It didn't attack, it just whispered into my ear. 4:25 p.m. Routine trail maintenance. No anomalies reported. Ranger Elias Thorne dismissed.